Specifying the path to include files is the most efficient way of working with server-side includes in PHP. All of the examples in this chapter have been relative to the current document. For example, this is relative.php. It includes two external files, copyright.php on line 1 and then on line 12 para.html, and in both cases the path is relative to the current document. You can also use an absolute path, but I think that relative paths are more flexible because they're not dependent on knowing the directory structure of the web server. But there is one other way to tell PHP where to find include files, and that's to use the server's include path. So we'll take a look at that. The include path specifies where PHP will look automatically for server-side includes if a path hasn't been specified in the script. And to find out where the include path on your server is, there's a useful function. I've got that here in this file include_path.php. It's getIncludePath, and I'm using echo to display it. So if we load this into a browser, it shows the include path on my server. It begins with a dot or period, which means that it will search the current directory or folder. Then on Mac or Linux, that's followed by a colon. This is the path separator. If you're on Windows, it'll be a semicolon instead of a colon. Then it lists the next place that PHP will search, and it starts at the root, so it's going to search in PHP, then includes. That's followed by another path separator, and then we're looking again from the root in user local lib PHP. So if I store my include files in either of those locations, PHP will search each of these in turn, try to find the include files. And you can also change the value of the include path in the main configuration file php.ini. And you can also change it at runtime using a function called setIncludePath. So let's see how that works. Let's go back to relative.php. Then at the top of the file, I'm going to add a new line and then call setIncludePath. And this overwrites the existing path. So it's generally recommended to pass getIncludePath as the first argument to it. So getIncludePath will bring our existing path. Then we need to concatenate a path separator onto the end of that. The path separator is different on different operating systems, so PHP has got a useful constant. It's all in uppercase, it's path_separator, and then you concatenate onto that a string that contains the absolute path to the folder that you want to be searched automatically for include files. Now this will depend on your own setup, but in my case it's /library web server documents. Then we're in the introducing PHP folder, chapter 07, 07_04, and then my include files are in the includes folder. So now that I have set the include path, I no longer need to have these document relative links to those external files. So I can just say require copyright.php and then on line 14 include para.html. And although I'm not specifying the path, PHP will automatically find it because of the code that I've set on line 2. So if I save that and then load this into the browser, PHP goes out, it searches the include path, it finds those include files, and it displays my file quite normally. So that's how you use the include path in PHP. Personally, I think it's more efficient to specify a document relative path to include files, rather than relying on the server's include path. Using a document relative path means you know exactly which file will be included. It also avoids the need for the server to search the include path to find a matching file name, so it's actually more efficient. However, if you do want to use the server's include path, use the getIncludePath function to find the default location for include files on your own server. Although you can change the include path at runtime using setIncludePath like this, it's better to do it in the main configuration file php.ini. Each path needs to be separated by a colon on Mac or Linux and by a semicolon on Windows.